So today's card, like I said, I have a purple version here where it's kind of on the flat side. We're going to do this pink one. This is in polished pink, and I gave everything a little bit of a curl with the bone folder. This is really simple to put together because it starts out with our standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. So it's just an 8.5 by 11, cut in half, scored in half. And then I have two layers, one for the inside, one for the outside, that are just basic white, 4-inch by 5.25. There's one for inside, one for outside. And we're just going to do our design right on here. We're going to do a little bit of swirling with our blending brushes, and then we're going to put punches on top. So, oh, and there is one die cut, and I'll show you what that is in a second. This is also a die cut. This is the basic borders die, and I took the one that was kind of looked like a cloud. I set it on this at an angle. What this piece is it's a quarter sheet of what's on the back of our designer series paper, and so it's kind of waxy, which allows my blending brush to go over it smoothly, which is always very helpful. As I tell you, you want to make sure that you start off of your paper. I'm going to ink up my blending brush. I'm going to start over here, and then I'm going to swirl on, because usually when you go straight down, you make a little mark the size of your brush or the shape of your brush. And I didn't want that on my project. We'll go ahead and leave that over there on our scrap paper. But I'm just giving it a little bit of sky. Now, if you don't have the basic border dies, don't feel bad. You can just blend across the top with your blending brush. If you don't have the blending brushes, you can do that with a sponge. There's lots of different ways you can go about doing that. Now I'm going to use garden green. We're going to put a little bit against the bottom. And so now we've already got a pretty background, and we haven't even, we're not even a few minutes into this. Hot mess. I definitely understand hot mess, especially today, right? Thank you for Sharon for reminding me to tell everybody to put in hashtag prize patrol. That's how you get the chance at winning today's card. That if you are the person whose name I draw at the end, then you will win the card that we're making, and I will mail it to you. Let me make sure I've got that up over there. Start collecting comments. Yep. So go ahead and put in hashtag prize patrol. Oh, I'm going to need the green again because we're going to need the stems to those flowers. And then we can start punching. Okay. So, there we go. So this is just one stamp, and I'm going to put one of them a little high. And then in order to get a different height, I'm going to put one a little lower. And I'm kind of leaning them a little bit this way because the punch is going to go above it, and I want to make sure that it's going to fit and stay on my card so that it still fits in the envelope. That's always the plan, right? So I just brought in a strip of cardstock. This is 2 inches wide. This is one of those great things that you can do with the 2 inches that's left off of a 6x6 piece of designer series paper, is you can punch things out of it. There's several designer series papers that would make beautiful flowers by punching them out. And it's that 2-inch strip that's left after you do your 4 by 5.25 full front to your card. Oh, geez. Spammers. Gotta love it. I apologize for that idiot. I will report him after we get off. If somebody else can go ahead and click that and report it, I would appreciate it. For our butterfly, or our butterfly up here, I used the same punch. You can see that our ladybug builder here, his wings are the ones set, and they work great when you're going to stamp it out and then punch it out. So this one I stamped and punched. There is an additional stamp that would stamp inside the wings. You may also choose to just punch it out in colored cardstock. And when I do the 2 sets, then we're going to need a body for him. And so what I did was I took one of our butterfly dies, and you could probably cut one of these easy enough, but it makes it super easy to just take the butterfly die and cut off the wings that, you know, come with this. And then I can put the ladybug wings onto it. Thank you so much, Donna, for making that go away. People really need to find something better to do with their time. I'm having enough problems today. Okay. I want to also have a center in the flower. And so what I'm going to do is use just a piece of So Saffron. It could also be Daffodil Delight, Crushed Curry, any of our yellows, even another pink if you wanted to, technically. But I'm going to, it's got adhesive sheet on the back so that when I punch it out, it's already going to have sticky on it. Although being this shape, it's really easy to just do a dot of the liquid glue. Oops. See, I should have my take your pick tool out here. This would help. See, that's why Stampin' Up! Gives us all these nifty little things, because they're helpful. Usually I can get my fingernails under things, but not today. It's trying to separate the cardstock, not just take off the layer. So you guys think I'm calm. This is where it comes out. I start making more mistakes. No. There we go. So I'm going to put one dot down in the middle, and I'm only going to do it on 2 of them. I'm doing 2 flowers, but I'm making them double petaled. If that's the right word I want. I'm glad these issues are happening to other people and not just me. And I appreciate you reporting. Hopefully they'll get their account canceled. Lord knows I don't want a dating app. I've been happily married for 32 years, and I think I'll just stay that way. Okay, so this is how I gave the petals a little bit of a lift, as I just went around and curved it a little. Oh, and I think I'm going to adhere it to my card base while I can still flip it over and add my tape. And then I love to adhere the flowers with a mini glue dot. They seem to be just the perfect little size for popping that on there. And see, once it's on there, the first one, I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to put that petal in the vacant spot. So they're offset. That's what's making it look more full. Oh, when I made the first card, I actually stamped my, I don't know if it's going to work. Now that I've got it on here. See, this technology's got me frustrated. Because the ladybug is so dark and black, when I stamped it the first time, I used the Stamparatus. And the Stamparatus is fabulous for these sorts of things because it's got two different plates. And so you can see I've got one stamp on this side and one stamp on this side. And I lined them up by putting my first one down. Magnets. I set my card in there where it goes. Not going to work, huh? Let's see. We'll put that back in a minute. Okay, so I had set my stamp down on my piece of paper. Then I closed it and used it and then pressed, and that's what picked it up. And then I just ink the stamp up here with Memento Black. And you'll see why I do this in a minute. Because there's our ladybug, and she's cute, right? But when you zoom in, you're going to see that there's some like white spots. She's not real solid black. There it goes again. Darn it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink that up a second time without moving my paper. I can then come down and it's going to stamp in exactly the same spot. And that's going to make my ladybug darker. And now I no longer have those little white spots. So isn't that super cool? Then I had taken the second stamp and I actually had set the stamp down on my image and aligned it so that the holes lined up with the dots on her back. And then I can come in and stamp this one in our pink by just inking this up here. This is what's great for our little Stampin' Spots that come in our paper pumpkin kits, or you can actually even order a set of the Stampin' Spots in our bright colors. There's a set of them. I forget what all's in there, but they would not give this little mess on the side that our larger ink pads give. You can also buy them uninked and then selectively do the ones you want. But the mini pads work great for this thing. But see how perfectly that aligned? It's like right there in the middle where it's supposed to be. And again, I can ink this up a second time. And now I've got my ladybug. Stamped twice for the shell and twice for the body, and it's perfect. Then I'm going to come in with my second plate, which I have decorated up with the wings, because that's what we're going to need for our butterfly. So I'm going to dig through my scraps over here and see what I've got. This one should work. And this time I didn't want to stamp up in the corner because it's a little harder to get a good image when it's a small stamp way up in the corner. It works better if it's in the middle. So, gosh, gosh, that spam's bugging me. I have this grid paper that I bought. It's a sticky grid paper, and I think I got it from Sizzix, I think. But that way I'm aligning it within the 1 inch on either side. And I can come in and stamp my wings. See, again, light. I want more ink than that, so we're going to make it darker. There we go. That's good. The other thing I did is we always have a tendency to stamp right in the middle of our pad. And so I find I get a much better impression or much better inking if I move it around and I get the stamp on the edges of the pad as well as the middle. Because when you push down in the center, of course, makes the ink go out to the sides. So then we need to go over there and grab it. So I'm just going to flip this over and we're going to do the other side. Oops, missed something there. Good thing we're on the Stamparatus, right? Okay, so now we have our solid wings, and I'm going to take my plate and I'm going to flip it over, and that's going to align up these dots. Again, what I did is I set my rubber stamp down here, closed it to pick it up, and then I open it to ink. And it's going to perfectly align into the center. And I'm going to do it multiple times so that those dots are good and dark. And then because I did not move either one of those, I can easily flip this around, line it up in the same spot, and do this again. So who has the Stamparatus? Do you use it? I'm going to be working on a series of videos showing some tips and tricks and how to use it in various ways. I know I've done it in the past, but it's been a while. And so if you're looking for tips on that, or if you've had any challenges with it, please let me know so I can include those in my upcoming videos. But now that we have our wings stamped, I'm going to come in and punch them by just lining them up. And punching. So there, those two sets. And like I said, I have my little body from my butterfly die. Bring my card back in. And I removed that flower and it should be sitting right under me here. I know it's right in front of me. Anyway, here it is. All right, now we're ready to put this up in the... Thank you, Nancy. I don't know if this is the video to give a thumbs up to, but thank you. I've definitely had videos with less technology issues. But then again, also some with more, but you know, who's counting? I'm going to put that down, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the wing. And because I curve this a little bit, I want to make sure that it's only on that side, because if I had glue out here, then they're not going to have that little bit of lift that we gave it with the bone folder. And again, it's just holding on to the base and gently giving a little bit of a curl. So there we go. There's the front of our pink ladybug butterfly flowers card. So while I have this out here, like I said, I've been playing around with a bunch of little ways of doing this. You can obviously do it stamped and then punched. And I have a quick little video as a reel, I think, on Instagram where I showed how easy it was to do that. And then, because we stamped it with the Stamparatus, what I did is I punched this out first, set this empty thing in, the negative of it in my Stamparatus, then set my stamps down and picked them up, and then inked them and then put my blank paper I wanted to stamp onto into the negative hole so that it would stamp exactly there. So when I brought my thing over, it cut both of them. I will do that on Thursday when I'm not so stressed. Another cute little thing that you can do is you can combine it with your circles. I pulled out just a regular standard layering circle. And then I have two of our little ladybugs. And look what happens when I do this. What do you think, Wendy? Do you love that? I made Mickey Mouse. And we can even up that a little bit by putting half of a red circle down here. And then remember those yellows I was punching out with my little, this is just a standard hole punch, 1/4 inch, I guess. We can punch this out and put a few little dots down here. Or we could do a bunch of white dots and a bow up at the top, and it would be Minnie. So how easy was that, right? It's super cute and super easy. That's the best combination ever. For the bee, like I said, you've seen me do that before. I took some Daffodil Delight or crushed curry cardstock. I put adhesive strip on the back, and then I went ahead, and you can do this with adhesive sheets, or you can use the tearing tape. That works as well. It's easier with the adhesive sheet, but they both work. And then you just peel it back to expose the adhesive, and then set it down and tear off. We'll set it down and tear off. And you just keep doing that until you've got all your little stripes. Then when you're done, oops, I missed that last part. You're going to come back in and just trim it off. I always suggest from the back because the difference between the black and the yellow is so much easier to see on the back side. And then you would trim it all off, and then you would have your bee. Like I said, I goofed right here. But then I took just a piece of black. I mean, any little tiny piece of scrap will work. But I made a little V. So, I mean, this was just those pieces of the wing. I only need a little tiny part of it. But then I can adhere this on the back. And look, now he's got a stinger. How cute. Oops, did I freeze? So there's the little stinger. Again, this is the card we're going to do on Thursday. And then his wings are in vellum. Because we are on the cusp of Halloween, it wouldn't be complete unless we made a spider, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ladybug body, and then I'm just going to snip off his antennae up there, because the spiders don't have antennae up there. They just have legs. And so I'm going to take just a head, and then I'm going to cut it in half so that I can lay them out and, make them go the same direction, because spider legs kind of all go the same direction. And because it's black cardstock, it doesn't matter. Both sides are the same. But then you would just line them up and glue them underneath until each side had 4 legs, and you would have a spider. So, of course, I've only got 6 here so far, but you get the idea, right? So the idea is to just think about how the shape is, not what it's, you can use it for what it's intended for, but if you wanted to make your supplies go a little bit further and do a little more than we think they do, which is always a good way to make the most of your supplies and get good value out of everything that we're buying, is to just think shapes and how we can design that. You can also go to Pinterest and you can put in punch art. That was something we used to do a lot of back in the 90s. And so there are still quite a few pins from back then, or, that got uploaded, of projects made back then, and some people still do it. So yes, I am on Instagram. It's Queen Bee Creations. I'm also on TikTok and Tumblr and Twitter, all those things. I tried to reserve my name, Queen Bee Creations, on every platform that I could. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Like I said, I sincerely apologize for all the trouble we had. I'm glad we got past it. We made an adorable card. I hope you love it and that you give it a try. And I hope that you come back on Thursday when we will make this one. Like I said, it can go portrait or it can go landscape. But that's going to be using those beautiful shapes dies. So has everybody put in hashtag Prize Patrol? I have more people watching than I have entries into the drawing. But we're getting ready to draw for our card. Whoever's name that I pull out of the spin the wheel thing will get today's card sent to them in the mail as a thank you for hanging out with me and watching. So let's go ahead and share that screen. There's our Prize Patrol. So there we go. Nancy is our winner. Congratulations, Nancy. Make sure if you ever win Prize Patrol that you go to your URL bar at the top of your browser and you put in queenbeecreations.net. Will get you to my blog. And then if you do /Prize Patrol after the end, it gets you to the Google form where you can give me your address so I know where to mail the card. So congratulations, Nancy. Thank you for everyone who hung out with me as we battled technology together. And I think we won. We persevered anyway, right? Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next Thursday at the same time. Thanks. Bye.